What's up guys? Today we're going to be building the Extreme Flight 75-inch Extra 260. Everything came very well packaged as expected. I started taking out everything to inspect for any damage. Luckily there was none. All the accessories are well packed in there. The fuse is well supported on all sides. Very, very nice packaging. So let's get off all the plastic wrap and let's check out the quality. So the covering, this always shocks me. The covering came with not a single wrinkle inside, just immaculate covering quality from Extreme Flight on this plane. Also had some internal details in the canopy. The paintwork was immaculate, no orange peel or drips or runs. One thing that I found really cool was they have a QC page inside showing they checked all the incidents and the measurements. The fuse is made up of this fiber-plated wood to make it very strong and light. One of the coolest things I saw is they have metal inserts, bushings for the canopy to prevent it wearing out. All the hardware comes individually packaged and labeled. So first order of business, let's get this up on the landing gear. Pro tip, if you want to do this, if you have an electric caulking gun to put the kind of caulk or silicone glue on, it makes it really easy and clean. So just place those on, tape them into place, and we'll let it dry. The tail wheel mounts on with just 2 screws, which is very simple. One of the nicest features I've seen is this removable rudder hinge pin. You just slide it in and thread it in. Very easy for mounting the rudder. Mounting the wheels was very easy, a single nut and wheel collar to mount the wheels. And I like that the wheel pant just slides on over and is held in with a bolt. I'll start getting ready to mount the control surfaces and servos. Huge shout out to Extreme Flight. The control arms come not only pre-glued, but also pre-painted to match the color of the monocoat underneath. I'm using Expert A1 Plus servos, which is my go-to servo of a plane this size. They've got these pre-glued tubes in to help with the wire management. Super simple to just take some solder wire, thread it through. I wrap the solder around the servo extension itself, give it a little twirl, and then it's really easy to just pull that back through. The surface that the servos screw into is that fiber-plated wood, and the holes are pre-drilled, so it's very easy to mount the servos. And then the linkages, they are turnbuckles, so really easy to set up and do the precision centering on the servo arm and the surface. Now it's time to get the servos in the tail. So again, they have this long tube running down the whole length of the fuselage, makes wire management really easy. So there's 2 servos in the back. Run both the extensions at the same time using that solder wire. So there's 1 servo for the elevator and 1 servo for the rudder. Very easy to just bolt them in with 4 screws each. Again, got turnbuckles on all the linkages, so the setup was very easy and smooth. One unique thing is that this plane only has 1 servo on the elevator. I mean, servos have so much torque nowadays, that's plenty. But they have this nice locking mechanism so that the surface is still removable, but also can be joined together. Only having 1 servo on the tail helps to keep the plane light and have better CG. With all the servos and linkages done, I'm now moving on to the power system. I'm using the brand new Scorpion A2-6518 PNP combo. Comes with everything you need: motor, ESC, cross-mount standoffs, and you can pair it with one of our props. Check out how much thrust it makes with the 22x10 prop. I've also heard that the Xworks 40cc combo from Extreme Flight is as well top quality. As I mentioned, the PNP combo comes with a gas equivalent cross mount, which makes the mounting very simple. And then as well, we have the standoff set, which match the length of an equivalent gas engine, so it bolts right on. ESC mounts on very simply with just 4 bolts. We have this little drill guide, stick it where you want it, drill your holes, and just screw it on from the back side. The batteries don't go this far up in the motor box, so you don't need to worry about the screws on the inside of the motor box. There's 2 wires that connect to the receiver, the master and slave, which carry the signal and the BEC. And then optionally, there's a 3rd wire you can connect for telemetry. So what I do is I use an extension from the ESC to the inside of the fuse, and then I connect that telemetry wire from that extension to my receiver. The reason I do this is because the ESC has a USB, but you can't get to it with the cowl on. So with that extension inside the fuse, you can connect our V-Link 2 programmer to modify the ESC settings without having to take the cowl off. The PNP combo does come with dual XT90 in a series connection, but I use RC Pro Plus S7 solderless connectors, have for years, and I love these connectors, so I'm going to change them out. The combo as well comes with 2 of our anti-slip lock straps. I don't use Velcro on my batteries, I just solely rely on the anti-slip lock strap, and it works great. Now I can go ahead and do all my wiring. Extreme Flight provides these rubber grommets, which help protect the wires against the sharp edges. So I'm going to go ahead and do my initial radio setup. I'm using the Mikado V-Bar Control Radio and V-Bar Neo. This is a receiver and gyro system that I use. I know some people don't like gyros, and these planes of course fly very well, but I've used this system forever and I really like it. The cowl mounts very easily. These bottom bolts just slide into the slot and then it's fixed with the 2 bolts on the top. I'm not sure if it's needed, but I did tighten up the bottom bolts. Now it's time to get the prop and spinner on. The prop covers here are the black ones, but we do now have white prop covers to match the white prop. So you can get white or black prop to match your airframe scheme. I started checking the CG and I had to move the battery strap from the front slot to the rear slot so I can get the batteries a bit further back, but CG ended up being no problem. At this point, the plane is pretty much ready to go. The surfaces are done, programmed, the power system is in. The only thing left to do is put on the stickers. Gotta rep my sponsors, of course. Thank you to Expert for providing the servos for this plane and Extreme Flight for getting me the airframe. One of the last things I need to do, and a very important step, is open up the cooling vents in the rear of the fuse. Of course, Extreme Flight has this hole in the cowl, but trust me, this does nothing for ESC cooling. The air comes in and out that hole and bypasses the ESC completely. In the instruction manual, we list very clearly this point, so make sure you open up the exit ventilation in the rear of the fuselage to allow airflow to actually go past the ESC and help cool it down. Better is if you actually baffle air from the opening in the cowl to the ESC, but that's only needed if you fly in very hot conditions or fly very aggressively. For me, on my model, I did not need to add any baffling to direct the air directly from the hole to the ESC, but I did open up the holes in the rear of the fuse, and this was plenty cooling for me for this application. If you know anything about electronics, you know that cooling is key. Cooling is everything. So this is standard practice, but I just make a quite long explanation about it for those of you who may be new to electrics and not be aware of it. So just make sure you follow these steps and you'll have great success. This concludes the build video. I hope you enjoyed it and thank you for watching.